Hey, welcome to the 2 minute drill. But I'm Muhammad and Christian Jones. D Ham couldn't make it today. Hey, what's up, Christian? How you doing, bro?
What's going on, big bro?
Oh, I'm doing good. Hey, man, looking at the Bears game. Let me make the screen a little bit smaller. I was looking at the Bears game this weekend, and I know you did too. And
Hmm.
I went from like to I was like in disbelief. I really was kind of waiting for something else to like happen. Like, no, this can't really be happening because you hardly ever see a male Hail Mary work at the end of a game. Sometimes you see him work
Hmm.
right at halftime. So I was kind of like, no, something not right. I mean, what was your feeling when you saw that?
That Hail Mary,
Yeah.
I I was like you. I was in disbelief because I couldn't believe that uh it happened like that. I just knew we won the game, so I'm like, oh, this we got this in the bag. I was on the I had to delete a post that I made on the group chat because I was like, yeah, we just won this one. So
Right.
yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like I just knew that the defense was they were always gonna be what they need to be. I didn't expect there was gonna be a lapse in what happened at the end of the game. So it's
Okay.
disappointing because I thought Caleb really did good in the game the game what was supposed to be the game winning drive. I thought that he was composed. I thought he had good poise. I thought he was making good reads. And you want to see like your quarterback be able to put us in position to win. So that kind of sucked that he wasn't able to like get that moment that it was taken from him because of a coaching error and then a player lapse. So
Yeah. You know what made it? What you just said. What made it kind of uh, excited and just disappointed at the same time was I was thinking at the time, man, the Bears have finally put together a game winning drive. It's been some years. I mean, I know it's probably one here and there, that somebody could recall, but I could even remember going back to even the Jay Cutler years where on those last drives, sometime it'd be something that happened, right? Maybe an interception or
yeah,
fumble or a drop pass or something. And I'm like, man, we actually went downfield and got that drive. And I'm like, I think it was about 25 seconds left when they
hmm,
was about to kick it off. And I'm like, man, there's no way good is this defense playing that
yep,
you're going to give up, a kickoff. I said, unless they run it back on the kickoff, there's no way they're going to score in
hmm,
25 seconds. So that was more the astonishing part because you're thinking,
yeah,
okay, you kick it off and then, maybe 2 or 3 seconds go off the clock, which about 3 seconds went off the clock. And then
hmm,
you thinking, to me, I'm thinking this way. I know we on 2 minute drill, we're going to talk about Caleb's performance, but I know I'm thinking there's no way Jalen Daniels is going to run out of the pocket because they got no timeout. So I'm almost more thinking I'm not even giving them more than 15 yards, if that much. I'm really trying to sack him,
yeah,
to flush him out the pocket because he's just not going to run. Because he can't. If he do run, he gonna run because you pushed him out to the side and he just runs out of bounds, which is a no pass. Other than that, but he'll probably throw it away. So I'm thinking he's not gonna run because they got about 75 yards to go. So he's not gonna run. So I'm thinking, why would I even give him that many yards?
that and they didn't protect the sideline. So that's why I said coaching error because typically when you in a last game winning drive like that, you want to prevent them from getting to the sideline. So you want to make them catch the ball in the field. And you want to attack them in the field so that they have to burn some timeouts. I don't even know if they had timeouts. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that the defense, whatever Food's called, they weren't preventing them from getting. They weren't protecting the boundaries, which is a coaching error. So that was my biggest thing. Like the Hail Mary, I am upset with, but you should have played that a little bit. You should have schemed that a little bit better, so they wouldn't even get it. Got them 15 yards. They got him in that area to where he could throw the ball and even attempt a Hail Mary. So that's what I'm upset about.
Yeah, I am too. If I remember correctly, when they came on the field from the kickoff return, they initially lined up two of the defensive players on both sides of the field, at least on the far side of the screen, at the bottom, like they was going to protect the sidelines. But then they moved. They moved. So you're right. They just kind of, I would say when I looked at the film, they gave them almost 20 yards.
They did for no reason, and it was like at that point, like I said, I can't get too hard because I don't really know how many timeouts if Washington had.
They had
What I
zero.
do, they had none. So that
They
makes
had
it even
none.
that makes it even more egregious because if that in case then you protect the sideline, you make them catch the ball in bounds, and at that point they gotta clock it. So they gained like what 15 yards on that first pass.
They
You take
gave
them
15.
yeah, if you take them 15 yards away and you tackle them inside the boundary, then the game is over. We ain't even talking about that.
Yeah.
We ain't even
Game
talking
definitely
about
over.
that. Yeah, that game would have been over with. But whatever Flus called was just egregious. So that loss sucks. Really, be honest with you, it really sucks.
Yeah, because there was only when he got out of bounds, there was only 2 seconds left. So they're showing if there was any kind of resistance to kind of make it a little harder to get out of bounds, that time would have been gone, right? But because
Yeah,
he
they
was able
didn't.
to catch it and get her out real fast without any resistance,
Yeah, they
that's why
didn't.
2
He
seconds
didn't.
left.
Yeah, normally, like when you see prevent defenses, they normally protect the sidelines, so the guys will allow you to catch it, but they're gonna make sure they tackle you in bounds,
Yeah.
so you can keep that clock running. You're gonna have to either down it quick if you got time. I mean, if you don't have no timeouts, you're gonna have to get up and down it quick, or you have to burn one of your timeouts, and that's what they want you to do. But for some odd reason, Flus, I don't know what the heck happened, but that was egregious. Like,
Okay.
yeah, that was egregious.
Okay. Hey, so let's get to what we here for tonight. And we could go back and forth the game, it's your call. But Caleb Williams in this game, what I will say, what I've seen a little bit in the I would say at least the away games, it seems like he starts off I don't know what word to use, right? I'm gonna say jittery. I'm not sure what word to use, but he's not comfortable in the first couple of series and all that. And I don't care what he say that he don't get nervous. Well, I'll use some alternative words. You're jittery, you're a little
Yeah,
uneasy. There's nothing wrong with
yeah.
that. That's normal. It's normal in sports. I mean, you play sports, coach sports.
Hmm.
Hey, man, I swear I had butterflies no matter how many years I
Yeah.
played. Even when I started
Hmm.
playing flag football years later, I still had
Right.
butterflies.
Right. I agree with you. He was I would say he was jittery, but I would say he was just struggling.
Okay.
Honestly, the first 3 quarters, he was just struggling. That's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like the game plan kind of contributed to him struggling a little bit too. The worst thing that you can do is just keep throwing it, keep putting the ball in his hand, keep throwing it when you're struggling. That'll make the game easy. And I think that once they got into the second half, the best thing that you can do for a rookie quarterback is to just go empty.
Yeah.
So that way you can see he can definitely now see what coverage is going to be from there. And that's why you saw the difference between the first half and the second half, and his completion percentage went skyrocketed in the second half because Shane Waldron did make an adjustment and they start going they start going empty. However, I just feel like we need to just run the ball a little bit more, in my opinion, to really get him in rhythm. And I don't think that we did that. So
Yeah, I agree with you because even when you looked at that game and late in the game, some of your better runs was actually late in the game when they actually started trying to look at it, running more.
mhm.
And I would say if the Bears had pulled this game off, what we would have been talking about was maybe three things. Well, four, how defense stopped them from score. But I think the highlight would have been that run by DeAndre Swift where he
Oh
hurdles
yeah,
in the middle of a field and through traffic. I mean, to me, that was incredible because the guy was almost standing up and he
yeah,
hurdled him in the middle of a crowd of congestion and that was an awesome run. And then what was it, like 51 to 61-yard run? That run, I think we'd have been
Mhm.
talking about that. And then this throw by Caleb, actually it was about 2 or 3. He didn't complete but 10 passes, but there was at least 2 or 3 that I thought were good reads on there. But anyway, like you said, looking at the game plan, I really didn't know what the game plan was. Did you?
No, I don't know what he was trying to do. Normally, you like get an idea of what the offensive coordinator is trying to do. Like after the second series, you would kind
Mm-hmm.
of get like a understanding of what his approach is, what he's trying to accomplish. I don't know what Shane was doing, to be honest with you. I've been trying to figure it out. And it's so disappointing because you had a whole week to prepare, and that's what you come out with.
Mm.
You know,
That, that's true.
I understand that you're gonna struggle. You're gonna have your struggles as an OC. You're gonna do some stuff that you thought was gonna work. At the end of the day, you can still run the ball. At the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, you can still do things to get your offense going. And I just feel like he waits to the last minute, and then he just starts saying, "Okay, I'm gonna go back to basics." And it's like, and
Yeah.
for me, calling that play. So how I look at it is, okay, so let's say they score. Let's say they didn't hand that ball off of a fullback dive to a center, backup center.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they give the ball to Rashawn Johnson, right? He scores. Our defense came back and gave him a 3-and-out.
Yes.
So at that point, Caleb was in a roll. So Caleb
Yeah.
would have came back, and I think that Caleb could have came back and scored again. We ain't even talking about this Hail Mary, none of that, because the game would have been over with from just those two scores.
Yeah.
So it's like little stuff like that that just be pissing me off because it's like you cost us the game by doing silly stuff when you should have just kept to the formula. The formula is we are running team. Yes, we got weapons on the outside. Yes, we got a quarterback who can get them the ball, but we ain't there yet. We gonna get there eventually, but we ain't there yet now. So why are you
Yeah.
trying to force it? Like he came out throwing the ball too much, and I just don't understand that. Like I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't.
What I didn't understand as well is, like, we know our quarterback was struggling, right? That means it's gonna happen. Rookie quarterback, you're gonna have some good games, you're gonna have some shaky games. You're gonna have a game like you had Sunday where you struggle and he got it together as the game got into those real important moments because you still had a chance. But you also gotta, when you a play caller, I would assume you have to take in consideration the personnel that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
You lose your left tackle, and now you're playing a guy that had not played all year and who had not even was prepared to play, right? And
Or
so you're
preseason either.
correct, sure haven't. He hadn't played all preseason, and so you're trusting him to now protect. And the weird thing was you were not even giving him help
Nope.
to, yeah. So you was allowing him to be one on one. And one of the things I would say, I think his name's Karan or whatever his name is.
Quran. Yeah, Quran.
Karan. One of the things I did, of the little limited tape I saw of him in college, I know he didn't play that many games. I thought he was sometimes kind of on those tapes needed footwork, where he was kind of getting out of his stance slow and
Yeah.
reaching a whole lot, right? And he was kind of like off balance reaching, right? And that's some
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you got to work on that. And if he's a fourth round, I think a fourth round pick, you
I
cannot throw
think
him
he
in the
went.
game like that. Was it fifth?
Yeah. No,
Fifth
third.
round?
I think he went third.
Or okay, well,
Yeah, I think so. Third. Yeah.
or yeah. I mean, you can't throw him in that situation. You got to pound the rock as much as you can. So one of the things I did see in this game a lot, and you saw it in the first 2 games, was they showed a lot of 5-man and 6-man fronts, and
Mm-hmm.
basically they was daring the Bears to be able to have enough time to throw. And you gotta be, and to me, what they were showing was some A gap pressure, which is why when they did start running up the middle, when they kind of like ran past some plays where you had the middle of the field wide open. So I don't know why they
Mm-hmm.
didn't adjust to that, but I know Caleb was kind of a little high on some of his throws in this game. I mean, what was some of the reasons you see that he was kind of high on some of the throws?
His fundamentals was off a little bit. I mean, just off. I'm okay with this. I'm a little different than any other
Mhm.
person, coach, whatever. For me, I'm okay if you miss a throw. What concerns me is if you make bad reads and you're not seeing the field. But if
Mhm.
you was going to the right person and you just overshot it, I'm okay with that. Because there's gonna be times to where you just off. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
you gonna find yourself getting in rhythm. So the throws that he was making that he was off on, none of those were gonna be completions if he was just on. It wasn't like he was putting the ball in danger. I don't remember not one pass that I seen this past game to where I felt like, oh, he put that ball in danger. So as far as like seeing the field, as far as like that, he was fine. He was making the right reads. He was just a little off, and that happens, you know. I mean, he is from Washington. Pretty sure he had a lot of people there, you know.
Mhm.
He probably was just a little nervous. He might say, like you said, he might say he's not, but he's probably nervous because
Still a nerve.
he's missing some throws that he normally makes. So
I agree with you, Christian, and I know a lot of fans. I know it's a group of fans out there, even if they're minority. I think they might be the minority. I'm not sure, but that really invested in Caleb Williams failing for whatever reason. They invested in that. But I'm like I didn't see any like bad reads. I saw a few fundamental breakdown. I actually saw when I went back and watched the film. That's what sometimes when I do like to go watch all 22s at times
yeah,
because it ain't really got no sound. And if they sometimes
no,
when I feel maybe got me, I'm not emotional about it, right? So I'm actually just watching it, right? And so I saw like on one early play, I can understand why he missed his throw because just as he was about to throw it, I think it was the defensive end put his hand up
yeah,
in the path, and so he kind of like adjusted his angle to throw the ball, right? And so he kind of threw it, trying to throw over him, but he had changed his angle at the last minute and trying to throw higher, so he overthrew him. Then I seen a couple of throws, like I want to say one was to DJ. He was up the field, and just as he was about to throw it through a lane, the linebacker put his hand out who was being blocked. So then he went to a sidearm throw.
hmm
And the sidearm throw, just that little small adjustment at the last second, the ball was kind of behind Roma Dunze. I said DJ, but Roma Dunze where the
hmm
ball was behind him. So some of those are explainable. One of the things I do want, I'm hoping the Bears do is I think they might, just because he could audible a lot of plays. I think they allow him audible too much. I think he doesn't have enough. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he doesn't have enough NFL data yet to sometimes audible into right play, which is fine. Sometimes audible, but maybe tone it down a little bit, especially when it's like a sight adjustment, because it may not be. He ain't played enough games to me at times that, like for example, that was that 4th and 1 on the 40th. To me, I was against him going for the play because I was like, you panicking. The game was only 6-0, even though they had two
yeah,
drives, they only got 2 field goals. Don't let them get no easy field goal. And a matter of fact, let me take back. It was 3-0 at that point. No, it was 6-0 because they ended
hmm
up getting 9 because they had 4 field goals.
yeah,
And I'm like, no, and it looked like he made a sight adjustment and he threw to DJ and DJ was stopped for the loss. To me, that's one of them plays where you call it and you tell the quarterback, and that if you're gonna take that risk, if it's not there, just call timeout and we punt the ball
yeah.
because
I mean, yeah, I get you. That's their scheme though. So it's you teach him to do something and he do it. Yeah, I get
Mhm.
you. It's I get you. I get what you're saying. I agree with you. Uh, that I wouldn't be see for me. I don't like to see screenplays on fourth downs.
Mhm.
That's not third downs. Yeah, but a fourth down play,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you need it. I don't see why you would throw a screen. That's just me. I don't like end arounds. I don't like jet sweeps. I don't like none of that on a fourth down. Not a fourth down play.
I don't
That's
need.
just me personally.
I don't
As
either.
a play call in high school, I will never do that because to me it's not gonna work. It doesn't make sense. It takes too much time to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most time you're gonna see about 9, maybe 10 people in the box anyway. So there's no point in even trying to do that. So I don't understand. And then that defensive player made a heck of a play too, because where
He
he
sure
came
did.
from to make that tackle was amazing. So I get why Caleb did that, but still though, that wouldn't have been a play call. If you're gonna throw the ball, which I wouldn't have done because we only needed like what, a yard.
Yard.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I just would have. Sometimes it's okay just to go behind center and just go straight ahead. Go straight
Yeah.
ahead. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So
And that's one of the things they haven't done. I don't recall. Maybe I just not remember. I don't recall any quarterback sneaks on short. They all been. It took them a while early in the season. They was actually trying to run those shorts with DeAndre Swift. Then it was probably around game 3 or 4.
mhm.
I want to say game 3 they started bringing in Herbert a little bit, or maybe game 2. Then maybe game 4 is just became exclusively just Roschon Johnson on short yardage. So even on that play, when I look back at it, Roschon Johnson was back there by himself. They didn't bring in Kramer on that play, but they did bring him in on another play. But the other thing I've seen is going back to the Bears as far as Caleb performance uh, is I noticed what they've been running that kind of worked the first week too is a lot of A gap stunts where they're I would say taking advantage of the center position because they're really just not that good at center, and they're just maybe delaying a stunt up the middle to try to get pressure right up the middle of the field, along with showing 5-man fronts. And I'm not saying showing they actually they're bringing 5 to 6 guys almost every play. And but coaching has to adjust to that, right? Because if you don't adjust to it, you're gonna see it the rest of the season until you're able to beat it.
Mhm. I agree. So that double A gap blitz, or dog pressure that you see, that causes confusion because you don't know who coming, who going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, the best way that you would want to identify that is your empty. You can motion back into a single back set. You can do a lot of things with motion to figure out what type of defense they in, and then from there, I'm pretty sure there's a second play, a check with me or something like that. You can kill whatever they call it. Some people call it can kill whatever, and you go into your second play. So again, I just think that Shane Waldron is I don't know what he's doing. It's not making sense.
Yeah,
It's just
I
not.
agree with. Yeah, I agree with the go empty. Now, this is the thing to me that I kind of don't get when he doing. I agree when you getting that kind of pressure. If you go empty, it gives the
Yeah,
quarterback
you'll see. Yeah, you'll be able to see what's going on.
what's going on. But what he's doing sometimes is he's going empties, but he's putting bunch sets close to the line. It's not like he's putting them out wide out where
Yeah.
he has the whole field and is making those defensive guys go out there to commit. He's bringing close bunch sets sometimes, like 2 guys in there, like right by the tight end, right where they're sometimes in diamond formations, but they're right there on the line. So it's almost like you went empty just to keep them close, which now even makes it more confusing, I would think, because they're so tight to the line. Even the guys that's covering them, they're tight. So now the quarterback has to kind of sort through that, which I don't understand when he goes empty, why he does not putting them out there on the wing so the quarterback can have more vision
Hmm.
of what's going on. So Shane is
Yeah.
doing some questionable things.
Yeah. I've been trying to figure it out. I can't. I wish I had the answers for it, but it don't make sense to me. So I couldn't even tell you why. I've been trying to figure what his scheme is, what he's trying to accomplish, and I really don't know.
Okay.
So,
Hey, let's run at least this play here. Let me bring this play up. I thought this was one of the best throws of the game. Hopefully, I could get it to run without it skipping much. Okay. Okay, we can see that. Let me make it bigger. You can see that, Christian?
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Let's roll it. Man, hold on. It went in progress. He really hangs in here and makes this throw right here. I mean, the guy comes in unblocked. Let me see. Ended up picking this up on Tim Jenkins' channel. He's gloating over this play. So you can see the guy's unblocked.
Mm-hmm.
And he lets it go right here. Man.
Big time throw.
Yeah.
Big time throw.
He's showing another angle of man come in unblocked. He drops it right. I mean, in between two guys.
Those throws too, I'm be honest with you. Those throws and when you see a guy coming in your face, those are the ones that you can kind of brace yourself for. It's still difficult. It's very difficult. I would rather have that something come in my face than something coming from behind me.
Yeah, because you can't see
You
that,
can't
right?
see it, and those are the ones that typically hurt the most too. To be honest with you, because you don't see it, so you can't brace for it. Yeah, those are the ones that really hurt. Like when you don't see them, but the ones when you're in your face, like the level of difficulty is still hard. However, you ask Caleb, I guarantee you he'll probably be like, I'm okay with somebody coming up in my face.
Okay.
Not
So
like in your face, but not like through the A gap though. Because A gap pressure is tough. But like
yeah.
if you're getting something coming off your face from like the edge, C gap, B gap type thing, then you're okay with that. But A gap, just want to make myself clear so nobody get confused. A gap pressure is the toughest. Like as a quarterback, no, you do not want A gap pressure. But if anything is coming from the B gap or C gap, you're like, yeah, we can handle that because we've already gotten to our drop by that time. We probably in going into our second hitch. So we okay with that. But A gap pressure, you have no chance. Like that's tough.
Okay. Hey, thank everybody who tuned in tonight to the 2-minute drill. 2-minute drill is a segment of Bears Banner. 2-minute drill where we mostly exclusively talk about the performance of the quarterback. And we're talking about Caleb Williams' performance in the Washington Commanders game. Hey, I rolled it back, Christian, for the play actually right before this play. This was just a real good drive. I know I started out with the DJ Moore throw, but there was another throw right before the throw that was made.
Talking about the one to Cole Kmet.
I believe it was to Cole Kmet. Yeah, it was come up. So you can see what I'm referring to. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men. And then you got 20 that looks like he's about to come. Let's run this.
Yeah.
Nice throw. You know what? It's another throw right after this then. This the Cole Kmet throw. I'm thinking about the Kenan Allen throw.
All that pass interference one.
No, he sides arm it.
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about. Yes.
So this is a nice read, throwing under pressure, getting it to Kmet. Oh, okay. That might have been. I might not have went back far enough because I think this is the throw. Yeah, because this is the throw where you get hit. Let me see if I go back to the throw I'm thinking about. We got a commercial coming here. But anyway, I'm gonna skip that. Oh man, here's that run. I think this is that run, Christian. Woo!
Oh yeah.
That was nice. Nice blocking. Didn't he just hurdle the guy? Oh, he did go down some when he did hurdle. I mean, at this point, it's 7-12 in this game. Matter of fact, this is the series where they fumble the ball at. See, you could see they was on a roll on this play here. Okay, let me pause that. Now, this is what I did notice too, looking back at some of the stuff, is in the fourth quarter, the spacing looked a whole lot better, even watching this play. But early in the game, the spacing on some of the receivers was some of the complaints I had first two games, where I thought guys there in their routes, they were too close to each other. And I kind of saw a little bit of that in Sunday game early on, where there was route combinations where you're like, man, they're just too close, right? That makes it hard for the quarterback, because he can't really, if he overshoot a guy, then that other guy then brought the defender into that same zone, right? Within some, some of the stuff was like 3 or 4 yards, like within each other, by each other.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and see which concepts you're talking about to really get an understanding, because they have some stuff they probably just haven't repped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you get in a game and you're like, oh yeah, this is perfect against this coverage, so you call it, but you ain't repped it that much, so it can be that component too. So all of this, we got to keep remembering, like, this is a new offense for all of them. Like Shane Waldron, teaching his offense, and these players are still like fairly trying to get this thing right. So the only thing is just it messes it up, because one, offensive line isn't really that good to pass protect. Really, we better run blocking than pass protect. So you trying to do some play action stuff, not play action, some pass pro stuff. We really don't have the personnel up front to do it. So that's throwing off the timing on all of that. And then too, you struggling as an offensive coordinator to try to figure out what type of style of team this is. So yeah, we struggling a little bit. Hopefully we figure this thing out before we start playing those division games.
Yeah, those are great points. Let me get back on the screen. That's a great points. Like I said, when you look at this offense at times, it looks confused in what they're trying to do. And I know it's all new for everybody. I'm leery of Shane Waldron at times, because he looks like it seems like sometimes he's not really engaged into the game. It's just like he just calling plays just to see if something worked. And I don't know I don't know what he did in Seattle. Maybe he needs to be in the booth. I don't know, right? Some people go up there and find out they're more successful up there. Some people need to be on the sideline. Different things work for different people, but I do hope, this going overall with the coaching, I'm hoping that Matt Eberflus turn over the defense to Eric Washington, and he becomes the CEO of the game itself, and manage the game itself to see what's happening. Because even in that game, there was a play where Washington threw a pass that I thought was an incomplete pass, and they got to the line. And to me, even when you're rushing as an offense, it's like, hey, let's hurry up and get it. To me, there's some kind of doubt even on the offensive side, right? Because if they don't have no doubt, they're not worried about your challenge. But if they got some doubt, they're really trying to get that ball off fast as they can. And I thought he missed those opportunities like that to challenge. And guess what, dude? Don't even call timeouts anyway. You might as well blow them on some challenges. I mean, you're going home with them.
I agree with you. I don't think he's a great defensive coordinator. Like, I'll give him that. Mm-hmm. However, him doing both has not really been good since he's been the head coach. Well, since he started calling plays here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, I tried so hard not to be so critical of Matt Eberflus because I'm not really a fan of him. However, you should know the play calls because your headset should be with all the offensive and defensive coordinators and special teams too. When that play comes in on offense, you should already know, like, nah, we're not doing this. No, run the ball. You running the ball with who? No, don't do that. At this point, Roschon Johnson is getting the ball the whole game, or Swift is getting the ball this whole half. We're not doing this. But for you to hear that play call coming in, you're going to still let it go through. You're going to give it to a center, a backup center. Yeah, that's trash. That's trash. I don't see how you do that. Like, so I agree with you. He do need to give up that play calling and just become a CEO.
Yeah, that make it seem like you're not you're not aware of the situation, as even in going back to the Hail Mary and the play leading up to the Hail Mary. And then you become stubborn in talking to the public about, some of the same stuff where it's like, why are you being stubborn about it? Uh, you know, I would say even as, coach, I know a lot of coaches won't do it, Nagy never do it, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with saying, man, after we really looked at that, because players do it. Hey, I don't think, I'm gonna try not to do that again. You hear players be like, hey, I'm not gonna, quarterback may say, hey, I'm not doing that again. I'm not gonna make that kind of mistake again to jeopardize
Yeah.
our team. But and like players being accountable like that, but then you have coaches acting like, well, I'll like the little speed option play they ran in the game against. I think it was that might have been the loss against the Colts, and you're being stubborn about it, other than saying, man, you know what? We gonna go with a more higher percentage play than that, right? You don't necessarily have to throw the offensive coordinator under the bus in a way where it sounds like, but just saying, hey, we gonna go with a more higher percentage play than what we ran, right? Because sometimes you just so those are like times too when you go to the season where they blew stuff on the goal line when they ran that sprint option on that play, and
Yeah.
that was fourth down on that play. And you go back to last year, Flus has a history right now of not being able to rise to those occasions
Nope.
in those moments, right? How do you close out those moments? And you know what? It reminds me of, for years, Detroit was that team.
Yeah.
Detroit was the team that always knew how to blow a game that they had won.
Yeah. But again, it's just like there's nothing wrong with over communicating and over just just being overbearing at times as a head coach. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point, you got to call timeouts. Like you said, call your timeouts. Make sure everybody's on one accord. Make sure that your offensive coordinator, has a play that you feel comfortable with, that you feel is going to be successful. You be like, okay, what we got here? Oh, this is what we're going to run. No, you're not. Why would you run that down here? Why would you want to call speed option down here? No, we're not doing that. We need to
Mm-hmm.
give our best player the ball. And it don't necessarily got to be a run play, be pass play, trick play, whatever. It just got to make sense. And I feel like anytime we get out to the red zone, we never do things that make sense. Like, to me, what makes sense is you get a ball to Roschon Johnson 3 times and see if he can get it in there.
Yeah.
That, to me, he's been hard to tackle. He's getting like he's averaging almost 5 yards a carry or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, give him the ball. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. He's a hard runner. Hey, I'm gonna bring up another play. Hold on, what we got here? Let me see if I can get this in here. I think it's gonna start in the middle of the play. There we go. This was a good throw and adjustment. Man, I wish he could have got up, because I think this is the play where they actually fumble the next in this series.
Mm-hmm.
But you could feel the offense was on a roll right here.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that arm angle.
Good ball.
I mean, he literally it puts his hand on the. Oh, let me go back a little bit. Hold on. He literally puts his hand on the guy's back and throws around him. Hold on. Let me run that play back, Kirsten, so we can see that. I just noticed that. Let's run that. He's under pressure. He steps up. See, he has his arm on the guy's back.
Yeah.
And throws around him. Now this could have been, this might have been one that even if he took off, he might have been back in the same spot that the guy caught the ball at. I don't think he would have walked in.
Yeah.
Okay, what's happening here? This may be. Oh, this is the fumble.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the fumble. And see, I don't even like the fact how they even trying to fool them by having Roschon go out wide, right? Because even if you was gonna run that play, why would you run that? Just get the 1 yard.
Mm-hmm.
This some of the stuff like this is where it's somebody did something I heard on the radio. They did a little research on. I know it's a little bit before your time, but the '85 Bears. I know you was a little shorty then.
Yeah.
So I can on Similac. But anyway, they said Refrigerator Perry had 6 touchdowns that year, but all 6 touchdowns, I want to say they said the Bears was up by 2 scores when they did it. And even when he scored in the Super Bowl, they were up by, I think, 3 scores at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So giving the lineman the ball is almost like a luxury where you kind of like rubbing it in. And then at a fullback position as well, where he doesn't have a short distance, and you're really like you trying to dive him up there like in a power run, and then he got all his padding on and all that. I just wouldn't have did that. I would.
You don't get no handoff to no center. That's not what he do. That's not his job.
No.
So you can't justify that at all. Yeah.
Yeah. If you win about 2 or 3 touchdowns, we just rubbing it in, letting you know. But other than that, no, I wouldn't do it. Hey, looking at the game,
critical moment like that.
So looking at the game coming up, what do you expect the Bears to do offensively? What do they do anything different with Caleb? They do anything different with the offense?
I think Caleb is going to be fine.
I do too.
I think we need to just run the ball. We don't have the offensive linemen to throw the ball out of pass pro. Like we just cannot. You can do stuff with movement, moving out the pocket, waggles, boots, sprint outs, play action. That should be our MO. And if you think I'm wrong, go back and watch when the New York Giants, I think that first Super Bowl they won with Eli Manning. Mm-hmm. They were just a straight play action team. Now I know that's maybe a decade ago or something like that, but still, it still worked. Like play action can get you through, and I believe that Caleb is smart enough and he's really wise enough to be able to play the play action game. So let that be your passing game for right now, until we able to get some linemen in here that can pass protect, because we just don't have it up front.
Yeah, because you may even have more people out, because it sounds like I know Braxton Jones did not.
Yeah, he's not playing.
Jenkins may not play. So
Pryor is he's probably gonna have to play another position, because we lost Murray too.
Yeah, and even Coran had limited practice. I mean, a little bit he has limited practice this week, where they saying he may not even play. I mean,
so that means you're gonna walk into the game probably with Pryor playing a different position. Then you gotta go back to what's the guy that's been was his mom died last year. What's his name? The guard that we paid all the money to get.
Yeah,
One
Nate
of
Davis.
Nate Davis is gonna have to play.
Yeah.
So you walking in there with a line, no, you got to don't throw that ball like that. We need this win. You gotta do what's best for the team. So that wouldn't be it.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like Larry Borom is going to play either this
That
weekend. So
that sucked in.
yeah,
So you really gotta make the game simple. If you
yeah,
win by, if the score is what 9-0, as long as you get a win, we wouldn't care.
yeah. Just come out there, just run the ball and
Hmm.
play action off some of that stuff. And I
Yes.
will like to see the Bears involve Rome and Dunze a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, I do think Rome present more of a mismatch than they're taking advantage of. Because I do look at a lot of this film and I see Rome open. I really like to see Rome a little bit more on some of the deep stuff. And what I'm seeing a lot with them with Rome is I'm seeing a lot of like crossing routes and
Hmm.
maybe like some skinny posts from him. But I'm not seeing a lot of like uh just fly routes, or I see some out routes early in the season, but I think they need to start taking advantage of Rome height a little bit more and get him a little bit more. Well, they doubling DJ if they can. So Rome is getting that one-on-one matchup. So they got to find ways to me, even if you're doing those like you're saying, waggles and boots, and you booting out to Rome or booting out to Komet. Komet has been a whole lot better running the ball this year when he catch it, because over the years he was kind of went down a little easier. This year seemed like
Hmm.
he's making guys earn that tackle.
Yeah, I agree. I
Mhm.
definitely agree. I agree with everything that you said. Yeah, I don't know why they have a hard time getting Rom the ball too. They haven't really gotten none of our wide receivers the ball. It to me, I feel like our offense is just it's a struggle, for us to just do the simple things. It should be easy getting DJ the ball. It should be easy getting Keenan Allen the ball. We really haven't seen Keenan Allen like really get going. So we got a lot of weapons, but we just Shane's got to figure out how to get these weapons and utilize them and getting guys going.
Mhm. Okay. So I want to say, and I didn't put the stats today from Sunday. I think it was 10 out of was it 10 out of 30, about 130 yards passing. I think it's around that amount. I think 100 yards. I think 100 yards was in the fourth quarter. I think it
Hmm.
was three passes completed by halftime, and no turnovers and no TDs thrown. But I'm still happy with the progress. It's all part of the learning curve, and I know some people may think that we're making excuses and we make the excuses last year, but you know what? To me, it's part of the progress. It's things that you okay with the first 17 games that I'm not good with game 30, game 40. It's some
Yeah,
things when you get to game 30 and 40, you have higher expectation than you do on the first couple of games because you're trying to fill it out. It's so much stuff. Well, hold on, what we got here? 1, 2, we got taking Caleb. See, this is like example too. Like we guys are going to regret taking Caleb over Daniels. What I will want to say about that is I think both guys are going to be good quarterbacks. Daniels was a guy I was going back and forth about, but you can't abstract everything that they're doing and say he would do the same thing on the Bears. You cannot do that because first of all, you don't you're assuming they got Cliff Kingsbury. Then they wouldn't,
yeah,
so if they don't have Cliff Kingsbury, then they're not running the same offense. Then he doesn't have Washington doesn't have protection issues. The Bears have protection issues. There's a whole lot of other things that go into this. They have no expectations. The Bears have expectations. That's a difference too. I mean, right now, Washington was a team that we all marked before this season started. It's going to be a bad team. So yeah, they go 500. That's fine for them. But now the expectations are rising. But even if they don't meet it, they have exceeded the expectations. So I think there's a lot of people for whatever reason, and I know some of it's just, oh, he paints his fingernails. Hell, some of y'all paint y'all fingernails too. You just don't put no color in it, right? If you go get a manicure, I mean, what's the big deal?
Some people won't listen to me, but I'll keep saying till I'm blue in the face. You gotta stop making comparisons with players because situations are different.
Yeah,
I think the only thing that you can do is judge about how they play on the field. That's it. Judge them how they play, but don't compare. Oh, if he was in this situation, because you don't know that. Like that's not something that we could even gauge. Like you don't know what Jaden Daniels will be if he was in this situation. He might have been trash. You don't know. So I think it's just based off of the situation and just how the game. Just judge them off the game. Don't judge them off the situation. That's not okay.
yeah. Then I mean, like saying, I'm not trying to make it about Jaden Daniels because I like Jaden Daniels, but
Yeah, he's cold, but we
yeah,
don't know what he'd be like if he was here. He might
correct.
not be. He might
Yeah,
not be playing like that.
yeah, and then also Washington quarterback wise, there is no animosity about drafting him in Washington. Who did he replace? You know what I
Nobody.
mean? Nobody. In
Yeah.
Chicago, I would say this: any quarterback that the Bears drafted, there were probably going to be some animosity towards that quarterback because it's the truth for this. It was a lot of people that did not want to move on from Justin Fields. So
Hmm.
you're facing a situation with some adversity. And I say this all the time: I don't care where Chicago Bears draft a quarterback at. The nationwide, all these national shows, they actually act like that person was drafted number one. Now I know in this case he was drafted number one, but if you take it, they treated Justin Fields like he was the number one draft pick and he was number 11, but he got talked
Yeah.
about more than any of those quarterbacks that came out in that same draft. You hardly ever hear about Trevor Lawrence. I know it's a smaller media market, and that's the point I'm trying to make. When you playing in a bigger media market, is more pressure. Washington is a small place. You go up in there, maybe they have. I mean, I know it's Washington D.C., but you go there, maybe it's 20 media persons out there. You go in
Yeah.
Chicago media room, it's probably 75 people out there.
Yeah. That's
You
why I
know,
said you can't make that comparison because
mm-hmm.
it's not fair. Two different styles too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't compare Peyton Manning to Aaron Rodgers. They play the
Yeah,
game totally different. Totally
yeah,
different.
yeah,
So it's kind of, I think in basketball you can kind of make comparisons, but in football that's kind of hard because people play the game in football totally different. Like, yeah, you can't compare Tom Brady to Pat Mahomes. They
yeah,
play the game way totally different,
yeah,
just totally different. So it's
yeah,
I get out of that.
yeah,
I don't know what Jaden Daniels would have been if we would have drafted him.
yeah.
We don't
Because
know what Caleb would have been if he would have went to Washington. You don't know.
correct. But I do know what would have happened if the Bears did nothing. The same people would be complaining if things were not going right.
Oh
And
yeah.
then they would be saying, how could the Bears pass on a quarterback again? So I do think that from both guys, because I don't want to say anything negative about Jaden Daniels, because I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Like I say, he was a guy that I was going back and forth. I mean, he saw me on the page. I'm going back and forth about who they should get, right? But I think both of them, once they get more and more experience. But one of the things you have to be dangerous of watching young quarterbacks is always say there's always a front runner in a quarterback where some people actually start off great. And I'm gonna use, for example, Deshaun Watson as example. Clearly looked like he was the best quarterback that year they drafted.
Hmm.
Mahomes sitting on the bench. Alex Smith is playing in front of him. Mahomes has a pretty good first season, and then he get injured somewhere around game 10 or 11. He comes back the next season, they go to the playoff. It's been downhill since then. It's been downhill since then. And you have other players like that. I would say Justin Herbert started off good by the time his second season, but it's almost like is he's it's like
Yeah.
like he made good plays. You see a good quarterback, but it's not really producing any results. So at the while, like do we move on or not? But
Mm-hmm.
you always gonna have front runners. RG3 started out well, but he had the injuries. So you never know with quarterbacks. You could have a guy that comes in. I mean, take Brock Purdy. His first year was coming off the bench and stuff, for what he was asked to do. It looked great. And now it's kind of like, I
Yeah.
don't know, right? You like, man, they probably should have got a quarterback.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. So what you got any? I know we ain't gonna do the predictions in tomorrow, and I'm not saying everybody tune in tomorrow to Bears Banner Talk Show where we do the pregame show,
Please.
where we talk about who we're gonna go with, the Bears versus the Cardinals. So we'll do that about 7:30 tomorrow, Christian. If you want to come back and talk on that show, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know, yeah. Jay is gonna be down there representing us in
Okay.
Arizona. Yeah. He gonna be down there. They got a First Fridays thing going on with his brother and
Okay.
all that. That's gonna be, man. But we got to bring home this game, man,
Yes.
because if we don't bring this game home, I think you start losing the team and you start running into a harder schedule. But I think people are foolish. I just don't see the Bears like some people. Like, oh, they're gonna lose every game. I don't see that happening because you was competitive in the division at the most part last year, even though you blew some games. I mean, you probably should have beat Detroit twice. You pretty much could have beat the Vikings twice last year. I know that was last year and this is this year, but even with the team last year, the Bears being a mediocre team with a good defense, they actually had opportunities in those two games. I think one of the Detroit games was actually one of the games that they blew, and the Viking game, I want to say the first one, they got an injury right near the end of the game. Then Tyson Bagent came in and finished
Yeah.
that game, for them. And I think he had a turnover that led to the lead in that game.
The only reason I'm skeptical of our schedule is because I don't feel comfortable with our offensive coordinator. I'm starting to feel like we was probably better off if we would have kept Luke Getsy, in my opinion, because this mess that's going on is, yeah, I ain't getting it. So that's what makes me skeptical. It's not the team, it's not the roster, it's just like our coaches. I feel like our coaches probably gonna blow those games and anything because they
Yeah.
definitely blew this Washington game. That was a yeah, like I said, like I get on Deshaun Stevenson, like what he did was messed up. He did cost us the game. However, Flus, he made, like you said, he didn't challenge. He didn't use his timeouts. He didn't even call a timeout before the Hail Mary to even get the teams making sure that the team knew they was going what they were supposed to do. I guarantee you, if Bill Belichick was coaching, he would have called a timeout, made sure everybody knew what they was doing. So you talking about we going into the second half, the second quarter of our season, to when we gonna play the Vikings, the Lions, the Packers. Whew,
Yeah.
that's gonna be tough, especially when
Yeah.
we play the Vikings. We already know what Brian Flores gonna do. He gonna bring that stuff. He gonna confuse the heck out of Caleb.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a low. That's gonna be a low scoring game.
Yeah.
And
You
then
know what's this is funny, Christian. Today I'm on a train riding and I'm just getting prepared for the show, looking at some film, and I'm like, man, I hate to say this. I was like, man, guess he probably be running his office a whole lot better.
yeah, he
Not that
would.
I think Gessie is a great offensive coordinator.
Yeah, we should
Yeah,
have probably
Shane
kept
has.
him.
Yeah, Shane
Nothing he
has just.
does, yeah, nothing makes sense. It's like what?
Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah. So
yeah,
when you said that myself, I chuckle, but I wasn't chuckling at what you were saying. I was chuckling because I was thinking the same thing. That man, Gessie would have been maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but better than what we said now. But Shane Waldron had to get it together. I mean, I'm gonna say it just like what you just said earlier about Flus. Maybe he's a heck of a defensive coordinator, but probably not a good head coach. I'm gonna say it's possible Shane Waldron could be a good quarterback coach or pass coordinator, but not necessarily a good play caller. You know, I
Yeah,
don't know, right? You could actually be good with the quarterback in the quarterback room, but when it's time to go out there for him to execute and call plays, you could be horrible, right? Because I know that's part of developing a quarterback that I had to give credit to because he is reading the field. I think he's making good adjustments on his throw. He seemed to know what the defense is doing. Contrary to some people may be thinking, he's actually progressing as a quarterback, and it ain't always about what your stats are. Like you said,
yeah,
it's are you seeing the defense? Do you know what they're doing? Like that in the fourth quarter, can you actually become special in those moments? And he did become special in that moment. Unfortunately,
yeah,
we can't talk about it because they blew the game.
yeah. He like I said, he was rusty. He's missing throws, but as far as his reads and stuff, he was good. Like he put the ball in danger. And like I said, I don't watch the game like everybody else. I'll be looking, learning and stuff like that. And one thing that I was learning and watching is like he really has good pocket awareness and really good mechanics in the pocket. He really never really like gets off balance or nothing like that. His throws is just off because I don't know. It just looked like he was just too excited, too amped. Who knows what it was, but something was going on because he really don't miss those layups like that. Like a lot of those throws that he was missing was just like layups. But
Okay.
you saw when he got settled down in that fourth quarter, like he's putting that ball on the money. This the first
Okay.
and to go back to what you said, I'm gonna say this. I'm a Justin Fields fan. I love him. I was a Jay Cutler fan. This is about the first time that I'm able to sit and watch a game and not be nervous. Like, oh, I'm expecting us to score with him. I ain't felt that since being a Bears fan. I've never felt like the Bears offense could score. So with him, when he went down there and made that score, I was like, oh yeah, we gonna get in the end zone because I just trust like he know where to go with the ball. Like I don't feel like he gonna ever do something stupid. So
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I had that same feeling, and that's what made it feel good about it because
yeah,
as 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 much as they struggle offensively, it didn't do it. They did it twice. Actually, the other one they fumbled, but they actually drove down the field twice to get it in that late in the game. And
hmm
then they even converted on the 2-point conversion. That was like, see, like, that's what made it look like when they got that 2-point, that really made it to me feel like, see, this ain't what we normally do. What we would have
right,
normally did if we got the touchdown, that's if we got it. We wouldn't
hmm
have got the 2-point conversion, then they could just go down there. I think it would have left it. They would have had to kick a field goal and they could have tied the game up, I think. Because what was
yeah,
it, 15 to 18.
yeah,
Yeah,
hmm
yeah, because it was 12 to 15. But as a matter of fact, if they hadn't got the 2-point conversion, they would have won the game because it would have been 12 to 14. So that's the kind of stuff that you kind of expect in the Bears previously, that they wouldn't have converted the two. The team
hmm
get in field goal range, kick the field goal, win 14 to 15. But the Bears got, I mean, not 14, yeah, 14 15, but the Bears got the 2-point conversion. So that was more icing on the cake. Like, man, all the stuff is going right. You couldn't possibly blow this with 25 seconds or 22 after the kickoff. There's no way you blow this. And I saw a picture, a still shot of not DJ Moore, Kenan Allen on the sideline smiling, and people were talking about it. And I was thinking, like, if somebody had caught some pictures of how some of us looked at home, we probably would have been caught between a smile and I don't know what's going on look on our face.
yeah,
I could say I was literally like,
yeah. It's a
you
we
know,
got we
it
got
felt like
somebody.
really?
Yeah,
Did that just happen?
yeah. I like I said, this is the first time I ever felt like that. In a while of knowing like, okay, I ain't got to worry about what he gonna do in the game on the line. Like I'm expecting him to make a good play. So
Okay. Hey, thank everybody for tuning in tonight to the 2-minute drill with Christian Jones and myself, Bernard Muhammad. and we'll see those who want to turn into the pregame show tomorrow of Bears Banter at 7:30 on the same channel. And also we'll be on Twitch TV and Facebook tomorrow. Until then, peace.